It's live.
Is it live?
It's live.
It's live.
It's
Okay,
alive.
so we know it's live. All right, yeah, it's Friday afternoon. It's not 3 o'clock. It's not 4 o'clock, but it is 5 o'clock on the East Coast here on a Friday afternoon, and for the second week in a row
What's that? The second week in a row. What's that?
that we've done this, I'm
Huh.
trying to figure it out. Something like that. We're getting into a groove.
Yeah.
And let me give you your stage so you can say who you are.
What's up? It's your boy John. Cold one, bold one. It's 2020,
Not bad.
baby. 2021, baby.
Oh my God, it's 2021. Dude is like,
That's
living
what
in the
that's
past.
2021.
Let me show you how it's really done, though.
Yeah.
I'm Brent Leary.
Uh.
See, that's how you do it. It's been done. So let it be
Before.
written. So let it be.
It's been done before.
It has been done before, but I know how to do it the right way.
Dude, yeah. Okay. Let it go. Just go.
All right. Hey,
Just go.
It's a Friday afternoon, and we're doing watching Amazon and beyond or something like that.
Or just whatever.
Yeah, or just whatever.
It's just whatever, man.
It's just the whatever show. Anyway, we're gonna have a little fun. It's Friday, but I wanted to start off on an Amazon note since it is watching Amazon.
Okay, what you got?
Well, Jeff Bezos, the guy that founded,
Started the
Amazon,
thing.
So he wrote his last. Was it shareholder? Is that how they call it? Shareholder
Email.
Email. Well, letter.
Wow.
His letter to email. I mean, email to the stakeholders. His last one. He's been doing that since 1997.
Bye.
24 years. And he's always attached the very first one to every, later stakeholder letter. And he, kind of remained true. Always put those initial goals, kind of keep track of those. I think it's a really good one. Oh, my buddy Finn. Greetings and good evening. It's good evening over there.
Greetings.
So
it's almost evening.
Yeah, well, over there it's evening. He's in Germany. It's kind of late over there.
Yeah.
So I really was interested in his last stakeholder letter. So I read it, but I pulled out a couple of highlights that I thought were interesting. Let me show you the highlights that I thought were interesting. All right. So there's a lot of numbers, a lot of stats on here. I want to ask you to peruse it and tell me which do you think is the most important data point, stat, whatever, out of the ones I've listed here. There's a lot of them out there too. Take your time. There's some big numbers on here, man.
I know you got to really think about
that. Let me take that first one as an example. 1.3 million employees. Do you know how many people were employed by Amazon when he wrote the very first one of these stakeholder letters in 1997?
In 97.
1997.
Let's say 170.
Yeah, that's a little too little. 614.
Yeah, it's not that much.
614 employees at the time of the very first shareholder letter. 97. 24 years later, it's 1.3 million. And after 500,000 just last year alone. That's just a mind-boggling number that one company could hire 500,000 people in 1 year.
That's crazy.
That makes you pause to think about that. They almost doubled their number of employees in 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, but shit, unless they planted COVID then I'm not that impressed.
Well,
Okay, let me not say that. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like it was straight up an act of God that got them there.
I'm surprised you haven't already made fun of me because I put a comma in there instead of an apostrophe, so it's like this looks bad.
Yeah,
Gee.
it kind of looks a little
I
off.
figured
But I mean, the next
call
one is
myself
the next one to me is the big one.
200 million Prime members up by 50 million in 2020.
Yeah, that's a 25% of it was done in
Actually,
a
it's
year.
33% because
because it's 150. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. So that one for me is huge.
You know what? It's a huge number, but that wasn't a surprise to me
Well, which
because
one was you? What was you?
well, I'm just going to give you my rationale for why it wasn't a surprise. But
okay, what was your rationale?
Everybody had to shop, from their homes.
Well, that was the same one for the first one.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I think adding 500,000 employees in 1 year is just it's hard for me to get that. But for some reason, it's easier for me to wrap my head around 50 million.
Okay, really? So I'm just thinking about this. When you talk about 500,000 employees, I mean, the number of drivers they had to add to get, the last mile done. The number of people in warehouses that they had to double stack because they had to worry about people, getting sick. Plus the number of people they had to help with the intake in the warehouses and the outgo. I mean, I can see where they got the numbers from. What is impressive though is the process. To process just the HR of doing that is a lot,
Yeah, that's not only the process, but to get them processed and working up to a certain level in order to make this all work.
The process, the onboarding,
to getting them trained up and productive with whatever piece. That I think that can easily be taken for granted. But when you think about adding that almost twice your employee headcount in 1 year, and getting them to the point where they're able to do things because they were all under pressure. I mean, everybody had to overnight start buying all sorts of stuff online.
And let's be clear, it wasn't a smooth transition.
Well, it's probably about as smooth as you can get when you're adding that level of capacity.
It probably is. I mean, it's unprecedented.
It really is. So,
but what was your number? You just left it. What was the one that impressed you? Is that the one?
I'm like already rethinking my
your answer. Oh my gosh!
Somehow my screen got knocked out. All right, there it is. I think that is probably going to be mine. Although some of these other ones are pretty good too. Like, are you surprised at the number of SMB sellers?
No, not really.
And that they account for 60% of the retail sales.
I mean, they were already over 50, and I mean, the deal is Amazon themselves kind of shut down, and it was left only to the third party sellers. So for like a month or so.
So, but I mean, the fact that they, like you said, if they went from 50% to 60% of the total Amazon sales, that's a 20% increase on top of, like small businesses became 20% more of Amazon's business in a year.
Right.
That's pretty significant. That's pretty good.
We'll see. You know what? It'll be interesting to see if that trajectory continues. Will it be flat? Will it go down?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it'll be between flat and a slight increase.
A little up. It'll be interesting though. That'll be still a real big jump.
Yeah. It's huge because when you're talking your percentage increases, even if it's slight percentage increase on these huge numbers.
Right.
Look at the amount of wealth that was created for shareholders. 1.4 trillion.
Yeah. Well, I need to hold more shares. Wow.
Employees earned 80 billion in 2020. Now, and another 11 billion in benefits. That's like 91 billion
What does that
going,
mean?
like vacation, health benefits, that kind of stuff.
Okay. No, I'm
80,
saying earned. Employees earned 80 billion. What does that mean?
I mean, they paid their employees $80 billion.
Yeah, exactly. When have you ever had an employee and be like, here's what you earned? No, that's what I paid you. We paid our employees 80 billion.
Well, that's what they earned the 80 billion. I mean, don't be taking it away from the employees. They did what they needed to do to get paid.
Yeah. But that's what the employee would say, not the employer. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they're trying to make it,
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. What is Mr. Kolsky saying? You needed to. Wow, look at that. First of all, I'm shocked that I'm not seeing LinkedIn user anymore. He's got it now that he's showing who he is, Mr. Esteban
Oh, wow.
Kolsky.
Yeah, he signed in.
You needed to hold more shares when they. Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying about that.
I did pretty good then too.
Yeah. That's.
I didn't do too bad.
And look how much money third-party sellers made.
Yeah,
They estimated between 25 and 39 billion. So there was a lot of money to be made. Amazon made a lot, of course, but so did these small businesses, so did the employees, although they worked hard for that money.
Right.
There it is. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming out of the witness protection program there.
The witness protection program.
All right. Yeah, these numbers are pretty incredible, man. And this one company is responsible for all this. All right, let me go to the next one here.
Next slide.
All right. This is some interesting stuff. 28% complete a purchase on Amazon within 3 minutes or less.
Wow.
That's so they're not even spending a lot of time on the site. They're just coming. I mean, this is really some fascinating stuff when you think about it. These folks are just coming to buy. They ain't coming to linger. They're not coming to do a whole lot of window shopping. They are coming to buy and get off the platform.
Yeah, that's what I tell people about Amazon just in general. It's like people don't sit around and browse Amazon. Once they know what they want, they go there and they buy it.
So, I mean, they've been optimizing that experience since 1994, basically.
Since they started.
Yeah, this isn't about captivating people to stay on the site. This is not a social experience. This is a transactional experience that people want. I mean, you make it easy for people to find what they want and be able to get what they want and make sure that they get it in a timely manner. They'll come back every day, all day to buy what they need.
Obviously.
This ain't about extravagance or some kind of over-the-top experience.
Oh, it's an over-the-top experience.
It is not for me. I mean, I just buy what I need and I'm out. But
Yeah, but I mean, if you go back 10 years, this is an over-the-top experience.
Well, compared to 10 years ago,
yeah. I mean, you couldn't even. I don't really remember imagining it this easy.
I remember. I can't remember exactly. I remember when I bought my first book on Amazon. It was 1997, and I was happy when it showed up like a week later because it was like magic. You push a button on this website.
Yes. I mean, that's the delivery, but I'm talking about 3 minutes from landing to transaction completed.
Right.
That is absolutely insanity, man. When you really think about this, 3 minutes. I remember, we used to just some pages took that long to load 20 years ago. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's like 3 minutes. You go in, find it, swipe, it's done.
Now they did some. If you check out the letter, he did some some calculations, and he was
Mhm.
saying like the traditional buying experience, you had to go into a store, you do some shopping, you have to wait in line, you might have to get some questions answered. He said, traditionally people may spend a couple of hours doing that for a couple of purchases, but maybe over the course of a week, it's 10 hours a week you're spending going into the stores buying stuff. So they came up with that. They try to put a round number on it so that they could try to figure out how much time you saved buying online, and then put a dollar amount on it. I think you put like a $10 an hour uh, amount on your shopping time. So that's where they come up with this $126 billion in time saved by Amazon Prime customers buying stuff online versus buying it in the store. I mean,
Brilliant.
that's kind of it's kind of brilliant, but I mean, that's an arbitrary number. It's not. Who knows? But it's interesting. I think the best number is 3 minutes, because we can all
3 minutes.
all say, you know what? I hated going to a store. I hated being in a line. I hated having to try to go to multiple stores because I couldn't buy everything I needed in one store. Now I can just go online, and within 3 minutes I can get everything I want, and I'm out.
3 minutes.
That to me is the biggest reason why we all talk about Amazon.
Well, you do.
Well, we got a show.
That's a big reason too. Okay. All
94% of fulfillment center workers. Damn, I should have spell checked this. Will recommend Amazon to a friend as a place to work.
Yeah, that's been for years, hasn't it? Amazon been the best place to work. I think last year was number 2.
So with all the things that you hear and all the stories, and there were some pretty bad stories, just some individual stuff, that number is pretty, I mean, and maybe that is one of the main reasons, that number is one of the main reasons why the union vote did not go the way some people were thinking it was going to go. Because generally speaking, these folks are pretty happy. I mean, they're getting paid. But the minimum now is 15 an hour there.
Yeah, that was the minimum.
Yeah.
So,
and I think, I mean, when you think of it like that, I mean,
that's a lot, bro.
We shouldn't have been surprised. We shouldn't have been surprised if 94% would be recommending, yeah, you should work with me at Amazon, to their buddies. That's a pretty strong statement.
All right. Cool.
I put that last one there because
yeah, what's that?
Amazon said, well, in the note, he said that they're going to invest $300 million in 2021 alone on safety projects to make the workplace, to make those fulfillment centers, make those plants as safe as they possibly can, while making sure people are productive. That. So that's 300 million. That's not chump change.
It's like, is it unsafe now? I don't get it.
Maybe it's, well, here. So the big takeaway from the letter, I don't even think I put it up there now. The big takeaway from the letter was, in 1997, he stated that Amazon is going to be the most customer centric. We're going to stay completely obsessed with providing customers with better and better experiences as the years go. So can we all agree that focus carried through year after year after year, even right to this day? I can't think of, you can say a lot of things, I guess, about Amazon, but one thing you can't say is that they haven't stayed focused, completely obsessed on getting customers' experiences better and better and better every year, in terms of, making it easier to shop, making it easier to get your stuff, giving you as much information as you need at the time that you need it, so that you can make a buying decision. They've been obsessed on that. So you can't deny that they were successful in that. So now he said, in addition to having that customer obsessive culture, they now want to be the best employers on earth. I think that's the way he put it. Okay.
Okie doke.
So Do you believe that they want to do that? Do you believe that they're as
You
focused
know,
on customer obsessed? Do you think they're going to be as focused on this new fixation that he has around being the best employees on earth as
I
they
know,
were on being customer obsessed?
I know his ass ain't because he's leaving. But yeah, I could, yeah, that's what he's always said. So I believe him.
He's always said that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Don't you think that's in line with
I
their
think. Look,
whole
I think.
vibe?
The customer obsession thing is a no brainer. No, and
Right.
everything that they did, you can literally see that it was all around that because they had to make it like that. Remember? I mean, it's kind of easy to forget at this point, but think about back in 1994, 95, 96. People that you were telling people that if they went to this weird thing called a website and put your credit card information in, and we'll make sure we buy you this thing that you haven't really seen. You just seen a picture of it on our webpage. They had to be customer obsessive because if all it took was a couple of people not getting their stuff, and this whole thing was going down in flames. So they had to have that. Are we at the point in 2021 where they have to try to be the best employer on the enterprise because they're at a point where it could go union if they don't? Or do you think it's a principle now? They just want to they want to do it because it's a good thing to do.
No, it's got to be expedient on to the bottom line at some point. So no. It's a corporation. It doesn't have a heart.
According to our buddy Mitt, corporations are people too.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever.
So I wanted to go back to this slide because what about partners, third-party sellers? Do you feel like they feel good about their current relationship with Amazon? They're making a lot of money. I mean, they seem to be selling a lot. Do you think that?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, not most of the sellers I talked to.
What's the beef? Because they're making a lot of money.
Well, I mean, money ain't everything. Money's nice, and you're going to keep making the money while you can. But when you feel as though policy changes and robot switches, that can be detrimental to your business, the increase in terms of, capital that Amazon's taking and share that they're taking from the transaction. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the seller community that's not roses, but it's always been that way in terms of not roses. So Amazon is I don't even want to say that, but
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So do sellers, do they view the moves that Amazon makes? Do sellers view that as Amazon doing what it takes to keep their customer base coming back and happy and trying to always, do what is best for the customer? Or do they see it as Amazon just trying to make it difficult for them to sell or to sell on their terms?
I think those things can be opposites. Okay. So what I mean is if Amazon's saying, hey, we want to make it best for the customer and have the lowest prices, well, that doesn't necessarily make my business the most profitable, right?
Well, I don't even know if Amazon is saying they're going to make the price. I think.
Well, no, I'm just saying I'm using that as an example. I'm not saying that's what they say. Okay. I'm saying that you can have things that are good for one side and not good for the other side, right? Or how about this? Most choice. That's a good one. So we're going to have the greatest amount of choice. Is that good for a brand to have their competitors on the same listing?
Well,
No.
I think it's once again, yeah, you look at the customer, you're trying to give the customers what they want,
Right.
right? Customers want variety, they want low prices, and they want convenience, and they want their stuff as quickly as they can get it. Now, you're right. I mean, if you look at individual sellers, yeah, they're going to have some beef on some of those things because more variety means more competition for them.
Yep.
But it also means, well, there's more competition, but Amazon is making sure they keep that customer base, active and happy and coming to this site. So although there's more competition, there should be more opportunity. You just have to adapt. It's like you can't just rest on your laurels because you had one good year or two good years.
I mean, everybody. I mean, competition is one thing, and you're going to get that no matter where you go. But when you pull different levers to increase the amount of competition, at the same time, you pull another lever to increase the need to advertise to offset the competition on a page. I think that's a little bit of, Amazon looking out for Amazon more than them looking out for their customer base or their sellers. They're just looking for more profit.
I would say I'm sure there's a part of that, but I also think, as more of everything goes the digital route, and we all know how the attention spans work. I mean, you have to stay in front of people, or else they'll go somewhere else because that's just the way the attention spans work. And digital, I think, is even worse. I mean, we've been sitting at home for what, the last year and change, going to all these virtual events. Remember, when you go to a physical event, you pretty much are paying attention to what goes on in that physical event. You made the commitment to go attend this physical or speak or whatever at this physical event, so you're there. Now you can attend 5 or 10 virtual events in one day, and whatever has your attention, that's where it goes. Yep. And I think that's just a behavioral change that's come with the technology and the situation, and Amazon, like every other company, has to figure out how do we capture people's attention as much as we can.
I think,
and that means that they're going to have to switch, the way that they do their digital advertising, digital stuff.
Yeah, but case in point, the amount of real estate on a buy page that they have allotted to advertising is a complete money play. It's not doing any great things for the customer base, right? To have, sponsored listings on their ads, it's Amazon giving more real estate to sponsored ads simply for money.
Well, it's for money. Yep. But we all know what they do with a lot of that money. They plow it back and reinvest. I mean, how much did they spend on building out their shipping service?
I ain't worried about that. He is the richest man in the world. Whatever that money is going back, he's putting plenty of that shit in his pocket.
Of course he is, but it's also being
and the shareholders.
Yeah, I mean, look, 1.4 trillion.
It's a cash cow, man.
Let's face it like this. He is the biggest shareholder, of course. He's worth about, let's say, 200 billion. So out of that 1.4 trillion in wealth for shareholder, he's getting 200 billion of it. That leaves a lot of hey, look, if a lot of people in his place, that 1.4 trillion might be half for him and half for everybody else.
Yeah.
But at least you get a sense that over the years, they've used a significant amount of that money to create better experiences for customers.
Okay.
So it's not
but the original question was, do the sellers feel like this this affinity with this business partner that they have? And
right.
and I'm just giving you the complaints that I hear.
So do they feel like Amazon is greedy? Is that it?
No,
Or
it's not that they feel like Amazon is greedy, but I think they feel like Amazon is taking more and more of their share of profits by utilizing the advertising network.
well, are these folks is it that Amazon is taking more and more of their share or of their advertising money, or is it more, well, Amazon is gaining more share of advertising because of the moves they're doing, and Amazon is not necessarily forcing them to spend more advertising dollars with Amazon, but they are making it a logical play to do that. Like
I
if
mean,
you
it's almost impossible to be on Amazon and not spend advertising dollars, where that was not the case before.
but if you're spending advertising dollars on Amazon versus spending advertising dollars on another channel, I'm assuming that the return on your marketing investment on Amazon is probably higher than it is on another channel.
Yes, but I'm not paying the other channel a fee for selling the product.
But you're converting on a higher level when you
I can be
use it.
converted on a lower level and still make more profit.
So is it that? Is it that it's not the revenue, it's the profit? Or is it
It's always
not
about the profit. Yeah, it's always about the profit.
is it also about not having direct access to the customer information?
Well, that too. I mean, that's all day, but that's, that's the
That's
game you
that's an
play.
industry practice though, right?
Yeah,
That's not
that's
a
a game you play in marketplaces. You already know that. You don't, and I gave somebody a very good, analogy on that before. All right. So it's like I asked this one lady because she was complaining about that. I said, "So what's your favorite bag? What's your purse, right? Or your brand that you're attached to?" And she said, "Oh, I like Louis." Okay, so you like Louis Vuitton bags. Where do you get your Louis from? Do you go to a Louis Vuitton store or do you go to Macy's or Nordstrom's or someplace like that? She's like, I go to the mall. I go to the store. All right. When you walk into Nordstrom's and you see that Louis Vuitton bag on the shelf, do you think Nordstrom's gives Louis Vuitton that customer information? Hell no. That's Amazon,
Well, because that store bought those bags at a whatever you call it, a not a retail, wholesale,
at a
right?
wholesale
So
price.
they're actually buying it. So yeah, of course they're not going to give that information back to Louis. They
All right.
bought those, yeah. And like I said, it's not just Amazon. That's a standard industry practice at this point.
Right. So
You
you
know,
have
that's
to be more like Louis. If I get my stuff on the shelf and they sell it, fantastic. Let that customer data go.
so yeah. Here's the deal though. So have you seen customers do the direct to consumer attempt to do direct to consumer as the pandemic went on? Because that's a lot of the industry talk was,
Yeah,
and particularly if you had like a market or some kind of a retail store where people would come into your store to buy goods that you got from other companies, they couldn't come into the store, so those companies had to figure out how to go direct to consumer because there was no store for people to go to.
exactly.
Did you see a lot of that? Did you see small businesses, small online retailers trying to figure out how the best way to go direct to consumer and start to cut out these marketplaces?
I don't think that. I mean, look at Shopify's growth. That's part of it. I think a lot of people if you are just a marketplace seller, I think there is an obvious play for taking some of that and reinvesting, just like Amazon does in your technology. You reinvest that into going to direct to consumer, as a secondary channel, not necessarily a primary, not necessarily do you want a divorce, from Amazon, but it's nice to have that option on the, premise of growing your business, expanding, investing, and having a secondary channel. And then after that, you might go to another channel, another marketplace. right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's sort of the play because you're e-commerce. You don't have the overhead, you know, that it would take to get more and more stores and move out. So yeah, why not? Wouldn't you?
I would, but we see that more SMB sales made up a bigger part of the Amazon sales last year. So that meant they were at least they were selling more stuff. I don't know how that equates to profit, but they were selling a hell of a lot of stuff on Amazon last year. So it doesn't seem like the issue was they didn't have a place to get their stuff sold.
Mm-mm.
But it seems like if you want more control over your relationship with consumers, you got to start working on this direct to consumer model. And
For some
for
people don't want it,
so so if some people don't want it
right?
and they're not thrilled with the way things are going on Amazon, I mean, what you're almost saying, okay, well, I'm not happy with what's going on Amazon, but I don't want to do what I need to do to go direct to consumer. I mean, you got to do something.
Well, not necessarily. You can just be what would you call that? You can just be a kept partner.
So
A lot of people are kept.
so they grumble and complain, but they don't do
Exactly.
anything to change
Exactly.
the
Why?
circumstance.
Because they're making plenty of money.
So then that's why I'm like, well, damn. I mean, how angry are you if
Not
you're
too
not
angry.
angry? If you're not angry enough to change something, I
I don't
mean,
think it's anger, but it's not like you don't see what's happening, right? It's almost like, hey, I live in this big house and I drive these nice cars and I have all these nice jewels and diamonds, and my husband's cheating. But I know that he only does it on the weekdays when he's on the plane. I mean, it's just come on. It's like, okay, if I don't have to see it, it's okay. You know what I mean? So
but
I think
you
there's
want to
some
complain about it.
but absolutely, when you and your peoples get together, you be talking about what a piece of garbage he is. But
That is crazy to me. It's like, okay, so you're making money, but you just want to complain.
no, it's not that you just want to complain. Absolutely not. I'm just saying, sometimes it's not all roses. That's all.
Right.
Right. So you can't just say, oh, everybody, they just made $600 billion last year. Is everybody happy? It's not that. I don't know. But another thing is too, Amazon in itself does not spend enough time with its community creating a community. I think that is Amazon's fault from years ago. Amazon never had that buyer or seller community like eBay did at one point.
So maybe that's the problem. Maybe there's not enough of a collaborative feel. Do sellers feel like Amazon just pretty much just dictates the terms and
That's
never
it.
really
That's it. That's exactly it. It's like my voice is never heard.
has that always been the case?
Pretty much. Pretty much. I don't think it was as much of a case, in the beginning. If you go back, 10, 5, even 5 years ago, 5 years ago was probably still a issue, but as they grow, the little things get bigger as you grow.
So in the heart of the pandemic,
I got you.
I just
Totally.
wanted in the heart of pandemic where the only place things seem to really be going on was Amazon's marketplace.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, I'm being a little bit over the
Yeah,
top
you're being a
because
little over the top because that's
because
when Shopify grew too. So
yeah, so all e-commerce boats were rising.
right,
It's just that Amazon was making 40 to 50% of the overall market. So
and the market was rising. So yeah,
and
you're right.
so they had half the market, and the market was rising at a 30% clip year over year.
Yep,
So that's where all the action was there.
it was there.
So and according to these stats here, bring them up. These numbers are pretty significant.
It's
yeah. So even with all that going on, you feel like the shopper still felt like, yeah, because Amazon did stop receiving certain kind of goods for a while, as they were, struggling with trying to get everything in place to deal with this pandemic. They cut down and said, look, we just want the necessities.
Yep.
And that was a decision that I guess small sellers had no input in, apparently. Probably just
third-party sellers had no input. They had no warning, and all of a sudden, we're not taking anything in our warehouse. Well, that's detrimental.
So that causes a lot of concern,
Friction.
a lot of frustration,
And
lot of uncertainty.
And today, from that, they've got new limitations on how much you can send into your warehouse.
Once again, that's a result of what took place last year, and we're
still. It escalated.
Yeah,
it escalated it.
So even though there was money to be made, the decisions that came from Amazon, I guess the seller community felt like they were just thrust upon them without any, any kind of notice. It was just here.
Dude, there's so many things in the background that happened over COVID. I can't even go into it with you. I mean, Amazon lending, there were businesses that were built upon Amazon lending, right? And Amazon lending was cut off completely, and shut a lot of businesses down. Don't get it twisted. There were a lot of businesses that didn't make it through COVID that were Amazon businesses.
If you look at everything, the whole experience, not just Amazon, but there was a lot of people losing jobs, losing businesses, that beyond the Amazon sellers. So do you think Amazon did better than the overall in dealing with the pandemic and dealing with small business customers who, they ended up selling a lot, but there was a lot of frustration and a lot of uncertainty because they weren't a part of the decision-making process that was going on, that they were completely affected by?
You know what? Do I think they did better or worse? Is that what the question was?
Yeah. On average, did they do better?
I think they did probably slightly better. Okay. However, I don't, and again, I don't think it's not really the feeling that third party is not part of the decision making. I really think the only area that's missing is that there's no voice of the community.
So it's not about the decision making. It was more about feeling like they were left out or not a part, not being communicated effectively.
Right. It's just I don't think you never really see them being part of the conversation, do you?
Well, you would know.
No, but I'm just saying from the outside, when you hear about Amazon, it's very rare that you hear about, the only thing you ever hear about, well, third party sellers did X amount in sales. And that's recent. Recent.
It's a bullet point.
It's a bullet point.
When you're a customer on the consumer side of this, I'll be honest, you really don't care.
No, but as an analyst, I'm saying.
Now, as an analyst, So I was speaking mostly as, like as a consumer, you just want to get your stuff, and you want to get it when you're expecting it.
Like when we go to Zoho, okay? We go to Zoho, they'll roll out, people that are on the platform, how they like the plan. You don't get that with Amazon.
Has Amazon ever had like a small business conference?
Yeah, they've had them. Okay. Absolutely.
So how were they?
Tried.
So why didn't they? Apparently, it doesn't sound like they were very well received.
No, it's just, you know what? They've not been very committed to it. That's the thing. Amazon to me is not very committed to its third party seller. That's it. 1000%. That is, you nailed it. I don't feel like they're committed. So they had one in New York. I believe it had like 300 people. They had one in New Orleans. I think it had like 700 people or something like, where was it? Yeah, 700. You know what I'm saying? So that just, to me, the size and the scope of what they're doing does not feel, $60 billion worth.
So if you had the ear of the person in charge of the small business seller group.
Oh, it's like, who? You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I would say to, like, who are you? Who are you again? Really? There's a seller group? Where? Huh? I didn't know that.
It's kind of, I mean, because you look at this stat again. Look, keep bringing this up. There are 1.9 million SMB sellers,
mm-hmm.
and they account for 60% of retail. I mean, that is a huge amount of.
It would seem like you would be really, really interested in the voice of those 1.9 million.
And you're saying right now, at least you haven't seen that, or you haven't felt that, or this is really fascinating to me. I'm just thinking that, because
I think Amazon sellers wake up every morning checking to make sure that their store is still alive. That's just the truth, man.
Wow, that's just a fascinating. It almost feels like, in addition to saying you want to be the best employer on earth, you want to be the best partner on earth.
Yes, you would think so. And I think they take the seller community completely for granted.
That's a huge thing, considering that they make up 60% of your retail sales.
Dude, there are so many stories, lost products, stuff going to the warehouse, never getting counted. Then it shows up in another warehouse. I can't send there's the back end. It looks great on the front, but you don't want to know how the sausage is made. That's for sure.
That's pretty amazing, because there's so much money being made, and you would think, you just, like I said, I'm just looking at the top line number there. You would think that SMB sellers would be really kind of happy with how things are going, because that marketplace held up and excelled beyond more than anybody else in terms of the scale and the numbers.
Amazon sellers are successful in spite of Amazon.
Well, I can't imagine that being the total case.
That was a joke. Don't get on me, Amazon. Don't hate on me.
But
I'll tell you what, I will give you this, in spite of the support they get from Amazon. Absolutely. 1000%. Amazon sellers are successful in spite of the limited support they get from Amazon. And that's the truth.
That's pretty amazing.
Is it?
It really is, because you look at, 60% of retail sales are coming through this channel.
You know what? I think it's the water we swim in. So we don't really, until I'm saying this out loud, I'm realizing how, transformative it might be for thinking. But I don't think I'm out here by myself on this thought. I think if there's Amazon sellers that have been on the platform, they're probably going, "Amen, brother."
It's pretty amazing.
But guess what? We're all making money, so we're pretty happy.
Yeah. Well, do people have these same issues with like a Shopify?
No, because they're not a partner. Shopify is a solution provider. Everybody else is a solution provider. Amazon is supposedly your partner. And that's a different, that's a whole different relationship. You know, if I'm having a problem, I want to be able to call my partner up and they be really trying to get the solution solved. You know,
Well, here's the challenge with being one of 1.9 million. I
what's
mean,
that?
that's how, how can they possibly handle close partnership like relationships
Just some
with
support, bro.
1.9 million?
Just
That's a
some
tough one.
support. You know, I think Amazon to me runs their business similar to like Google. All right. If Google ain't running, who you calling?
I have no idea.
Exactly. Amazon's almost like that, bro. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse in terms of their customer support for their
Partners?
sellers. Yeah, their partner. You know, it's been overseas and now it's robots. Oh, now just you got to open a ticket. You know what I'm saying? It goes down, down, down instead of up, up, up.
That's really hard to believe because there's
I
so much.
know.
So I mean the way that they, the customer obsessive, totally understandable. Doing the employees, because these employees, the ones that
Oh,
are fulfilling all this stuff,
I
man,
had a
that's a
story I
ch-
wanted to hit you up with too, and I can't even remember what it was now, but it was talking about some of these larger brands that were being squeezed by Amazon, right? On other platforms. So it's like if you didn't uh, spend more on your, um, man, I don't want to quote it bad. You talk and I'm going to find it because it was
well, what?
crazy.
Well, if you are using Amazon for advertising platform and you're selling, do you feel like you're a little better taken care of
If you are what? Say it
if
again.
you're also using the digital ad platform, and you're doing FBA, and I mean, if your whole shop, is your whole, like, you're spending 95% of your resources on Amazon services to sell more on Amazon. Are are you getting better? Do you feel like you're being better taken care of than if you're only trying to do certain things on the platform?
No, I don't think so. Because it's like one one doesn't really know what the other one is doing in terms of they've got pretty good, silos there. So I don't think so, not really. But it's like you can talk to somebody maybe about your advertising issues, and there's no way that they can help you with the warehouse issues. It's still, well, I can open a case for you, you know,
Mm.
but it's the same thing.
So you just feel like you're just a number? I mean, you don't
A
feel
lot
like,
of times, absolutely. And it doesn't matter what size you are either, because I hear it from multi-million dollar sellers that are selling every day, a million a day versus somebody that's selling $100 a day. There's no that, and that could be good or bad, honestly. It's not like we're playing favorites with anyone, but it just feels like there could be, like I said, just a little bit more of a community around it.
so that would be your recommendation then, basically.
My recommendation for Amazon.
Uh-oh. Get yourself a chair, folks.
No, it's not. No, my recommendation for Amazon is to really, really figure out um, what your people that sell on your platform need and give it to them. We want to be every bit as successful as Amazon wants their people to be successful. I think there's a disconnect somewhere in the middle, and it's because they don't have a seller team that is transparent, available, and engaged. I really just don't feel that, and that's me. That's my personal opinion. Period. I don't know what else to tell them.
What about, would it help? I
You're a
don't know.
custom. You're
I'm just throwing this out.
CRM.
Would it help though? Would it help if they did give you more rationale or understanding as to why certain decisions are made?
Not even just why, how to navigate these decisions. It's like, yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? I there's like years ago they put this thing in place, maybe 3-4 years ago. I think it was 2017. They put this thing in place where it was like they were trying to load balance how much, because people were throwing stuff into the warehouse. Just, oh, find it, send it, find it, send it, buy it, send it, and we'll pay the storage fee. So in order to combat that, what they ended up doing was saying, hey, here's where they put together this stupid graph, right? And on one end was you're too high, and one end was too low, and you wanted to stay in the middle, right? To show that you have the best optimization of inventory in a warehouse. Okay.
Yep.
They roll this thing out. I'm at the event. I'm looking up at the damn screen. Now, mind you, you want to be in the center, but the graph or the whatever they use, whatever you would call it, the graph though is green on the left side, yellow in the middle, red on the right. Now, which area would you think would be the best place to be? Think about it. Green, yellow, red. Which area?
Green.
Exactly. But that green was all the way on the left. So as you're getting closer to the perfect spot, you're getting yellow. It's just, I was like, who came up with this shit? This is Amazon, really? Right? And I mean, people were totally confused by that. They were underserving. They were running out of product. Not only that, if you were too low in the green, they would penalize you. If you're too high in the red, they would penalize you.
Wow.
It was just like, I can't believe, but these are some of the things that Amazon has done over the years. That's just one example. There's been a couple others, but it's just ridiculous. So, copyright infringement, how they rolled that out, protecting brands, just a lot of stuff, bro. You just don't get it. You just don't get it. You don't know.
I really don't.
Why am I whining? I am so whiny right now.
Well, that sounds like you're speaking on behalf of a lot of people.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's interesting. I didn't know we were going to go that.
I mean, either, man.
But it was actually really, it all stems back to me. It sounds like the best employer on earth thing is a great. Great thing. What?
Let me ask you this question. Come on, your CRM, customer relationship management. Yes. How would you manage this relationship? What would your, recommendation be if somebody brought you in and said, "Hey, Brent, here's what we're hearing from our user base," and what would your recommendation be for them?
For them, I think it would be, all the things that you've done for your customers, try to do the same thing with your partners.
Because we are customers too.
We know it works for your customers because you sell like 200 and some odd $1 billion a year and stuff.
Yeah.
That's whatever you're doing there, it's working. Try to see how that's
not bad though. That's not bad. Yeah, that's a good point. I think that is what they need to do a little bit. Look at what's working over there and see if we can bring a little bit of that over here.
Well, it's the whole ecosystem. It's
right.
Like they're the marketplace. You need customers to buy from the marketplace, and you need partners to feed the marketplace.
I'm gonna draw Jeff a flywheel.
Yeah, he's getting ready to fly off in the outer space with his blue. What is it? Blue orchid? Something like that. All right. This is interesting. We got a little deeper than I was expecting for a Friday afternoon, but
that's interesting.
That's all right.
I need a drink. I need a drink.
You should try this cherry vanilla zero Coke.
No. No. I'm drinking carrot and orange juice.
Whoa.
Wow. Yummy.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. So, yeah, we went deep on this one. I think it was good because that was his last letter. That's the last one.
Bye, Jeff.
I wonder what Jassy's going to... How do you follow up that?
Don't try.
That's
Don't try.
Talk about some tough shoes to fill, man. Well, Tim Cook has done a
that's what I was about to say. He's got
it.
at least an opportunity to follow in somebody else's trailblaze there.
Jassy was at Amazon for 20-something years. Tim Cook was almost the same kind of thing with Apple. But that's just tough, man. See,
yeah, but you know what? I don't want to say this in the wrong way. Don't take it wrong, people. But Steve Jobs is dead.
In certain ways, that makes it tough.
Exactly. Maybe, or does it make it easier? I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out on that one.
Bill Gates is the other guy you kind of put in that category.
And they had problems.
But when he stepped away, initially they had problems, but he also played a significant role in Satya Nadella being CEO now. And from that point on, so it'll be interesting to see.
Awesome, dude.
All right. That's it for this week. That was actually really interesting.
Yeah, you got really interested in that.
Yeah. We did. Didn't even talk about anything else. It's like watching Amazon and Beyond. Not today.
Not today.
We'll do it again. I still want to. I gotta get on him with this. Why he doesn't want to talk about the housewives stuff.
Oh no. Okay. Later.
We will see you next week at 5. We're claiming 5.
5. Friday at 5. Boom. We're done. We're in it.
Do I do it like this?
Yeah. Peace.
See you later.